everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're going to be building in the world of Sulani, which is the world that we got with the Island Living expansion pack. And we're building up in the lot that is next to the volcano. And I hardly ever build here. I think the last time I built here was when I built my hot springs pool, and that was a while ago. I don't even remember how long ago that was because it's been a minute. But we're building a little house for a small family in Sulani. It ended up having a main bedroom, which could sleep 2 Sims, and then there's a child's bedroom, and there is a ridiculously small guest bedroom. I think it may be the smallest guest bedroom that I've ever built, or bedroom at all. It's just so small. But I had kind of had that area marked off for a bedroom, and when I had first started building, I think I was building it for a toddler. In my mind, the family would have a toddler, and then as I kind of got through building, for some reason I had changed my mind and I felt like it was going to be a kid sim that would live here, a child. And so then when I got into that bedroom, I realized that it was actually too small for a child's bedroom. And so I had to shuffle some stuff around. But this is a 3-bedroom house. It's just got a really, really small guest bedroom. So it's technically 2-bedroom with just a ridiculously small guest bedroom. But usually when I'm building, I do have an inspiration picture, and with this particular build, I do have an inspiration picture, but it's a bit weird because it's actually an inspiration picture of a bathroom that I saw on Pinterest. So I'll go on and put it up on the screen now where you guys can see what I was going for and why I wanted to build this. And so, yeah, basically the whole house is just built around the bathroom just because I wanted to build that area. I thought it looked so nice, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I didn't really have an inspiration picture for the actual house, and so that was just me winging it completely. And I think the house actually turns out okay. I don't hate the house. I kind of like it, but the exterior of this house gets a little bit crazy, and so I'm a little bit unsure about that because I'm going to end up adding in a pool and a pond area, and I just never could totally get happy with the way it looks. Like at one point while I was building, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Bridesmaids movie, but at one point while I was building it, I kept looking back over there at the pond and the pool because I had gotten it done and I was still working on the exterior, and my eye just kept kind of going over there, and all I could think of was Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids when she's screaming like, "Look away." I just kept looking at it and second guessing it and wishing I could change it, and I had gone too far in the build and I couldn't change it at that point. And so this is just, it is what it is. Hopefully you guys will still enjoy this. But the pool and the pond area are definitely not my favorite, but we'll just go on and jump into building it. So I had this little pool area, and I did have kind of an inspiration picture for this area, and it had these little things that I'm working on right now, which was these corner areas of this structure, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but anyway, I think it was just decorative, but I loved the way it looked, and so I kind of tried to recreate it. So I ended up grabbing one of those accent tables from the spa day pack, the one that is a little bit of a square, and then its center is open. I mean, you guys can see it on the screen, so you know what I'm talking about, but it's from the spa day pack. I used the tool mod to rotate it to where it was on its back, basically. I think that's the right way to describe that. But I used the tool mod to rotate it, stacked them up on top of each other. Then I grabbed that Island Living house plant, one of the plants that came with Island Living, and then I did use one of the Stony Goodness slabs up on the top just to kind of give it a finished look and make it look like it was all meant to be together instead of just kind of thrown together. But I love that so much. That part of the pool area is so cute to me and different, and I really like the way that turned out. And the pool, honestly, the pool is not the problem. The problem is the pond. When I get to the pond, everything just kind of fell apart, and it didn't look natural, it didn't fit in with the pool, and it just did not turn into what I wanted it to be. So in my mind, the inspiration picture that I had seen, like I mentioned, and I'll try to find it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but if I can, I'll put it on the screen. I honestly think I've already deleted it, but the little picture that I was looking at of the pool, it had this water that was kind of coming over the side of it, and it was kind of going into this very small fountain. And it looked really, really nice, and I thought that I could do that. I could make that in The Sims. But, of course, as you guys know, we have a lot of restrictions when it comes to building around pools and building with fountains and stuff. And maybe not a lot, but it's enough that if you're trying to be, like, super weird and creative, it can be frustrating. So, you can't place a fountain right next to a pool. And you can't place a pool at a different foundation height than another pool. You can't place them right next to each other. Basically, just like the houses, I guess. Just like the regular foundation, you can't do a split level, I guess, unless you're using the platform tool. And so I needed to figure out how to get this fountain beside the pool, because for some reason I wouldn't just let it go and figure out something else. So I kept on trying to figure it out. So I had used the pond tool. I was using the terrain tool and the pond tool, and I had tried to work that in, but I never could get it to look decent either. And so I cut out a lot of that footage, because when I tell you that I spent a ridiculous amount of time on this area, I am telling you the truth. It was absolutely ridiculous the amount of time I tried to make this work and tried to make what I had in my head come to life, and it just never happened. But this is pretty much what I ended up with. So I did grab a fountain tool and I just moved it one tile away from the pool. I used some more of those stony goodness slabs to kind of try to blend in the space a little bit better, but I mean, it doesn't work. But then I did grab those spa day waterfall things as well. I don't remember what they're called, but I grabbed those when I remembered that they kind of had the little waterfall effect. And that's what I used for the entire time that I'm actually recording. But in the very end, I remembered that I could size those down and then they wouldn't have the chunky border around it. And when I did that, then I kind of remembered that when you do that, they don't really look like water coming out of it at all. It just kind of looks like this weird translucent thing that is there now. And so I didn't like the way that looked. So I ended up grabbing the kind of similar item from City Living, which is a wall object and it's a waterfall. And it basically works the same way. So if you size it down, then the water is still there, but the border is gone. And in my opinion, it looks a lot nicer. And so that's what I ended up doing. But I did all that after I had stopped recording. So when you guys see the end screen of this video, you'll see what it looks like in the end. I mean, you guys have already seen the thumbnail. But to be honest, I'm not actually sure if I'm going to share the thumbnail that has the pool in it, or if I'm going to share the one that I took that kind of cut the pool out, because I never have actually totally convinced myself that I like the pool area. Even though it's changed from what you guys are seeing right now, I do change it around a little bit, but I never could just make myself love it. So I don't know what exactly I'm going to use for the thumbnail, but I will have the end result though in the end screen if you guys want to see what it ended up looking like, because it does look a little bit different. And I also just kept weirding myself out about the watercolor, because I wanted the pool to kind of look like a pool. So I wanted it to have clear water. And then the pond, or the fountain, it's actually a fountain, but it was kind of supposed to look like a pond, I guess. I started out using the leafy ones that we got. I don't remember when we got it, but it may be one of them from Get Together. But I really didn't like how the two watercolors were different. So I think I ended up changing that to where the pond or the fountain or whatever it is was the same color as the pool, because I just never could be okay with the fact that they were two different color watercolors. And so I do end up changing that. And I think I had to get rid of the ducks. I had tried to add some ducks into it, but it wasn't a big enough space. And so the ducks kind of kept just swimming over the ground and in those stony goodness slabs from Spa Day as well. And it just kind of looked weird. So I ended up having to get rid of the ducks, but I did add some fish and stuff to it. But in my mind, this family, the parents of this family, were conservationist Sims. I'm not stuck to that, but that's kind of what I was building it for, because you have to have something in your mind as you're building, like, to kind of design it for someone. And so in my mind, it was conservationist Sims, because we're out here in the middle of nowhere in Sulani and we're by the volcano. And I actually have never played through the conservationist career, so I may get this totally off, but I wanted it to have just a lot of nature, a lot of plants. And that original inspiration picture of the bathroom had a ton of plants, and it just looked like such a natural space. So that's what I was going for with this house, was just having it look really natural and just like a really peaceful place to be. And, you know, just kind of away from everything else. Like, these Sims are happy being away from the party, away from everything else. And so I really was going in for that natural vibe. I did place a bunch of those planters down, the garden planters, and I will tell you guys that I went on and placed a bunch of the fruit and stuff that's specific to Sulani. I went on and placed a bunch of that down and planted it while I was playtesting. So if you guys don't want that stuff, you can just delete it. You don't have to keep it, but I think it will still show up if you download it from the gallery, because I did all that before I saved this to the gallery. So there are some plants and stuff that are already planted, but everything worked, I think, pretty well when I was playtesting. I'm trying to think if there was anything in particular that didn't. And the only thing I can think of right now was a couple of bookcases, which doesn't really matter because there is one bookcase that's functional and works totally fine. So if you needed a book, you can access that. I think it's the one that's in the kids' bedroom that works. And the one that you guys will see me place in this living area here in a minute, it did not work. The Sims can't actually interact with it. But also out in the front of the house is a little laundry area. And because it's so natural and like I said, it's very secluded, this area. So I thought I would add in the laundry line that we got with the debug stuff in the Island Living Pack. I think that's where it came from. It's not from Laundry Day, but it's this really nice clothesline and it came from the Island Living Pack. So I wanted to include that. And then I thought, well, I might as well just include some of the off-the-grid laundry stuff that we got with the Laundry Day. And so I did include one of the little washing bins. I'm not sure what it's called. I think that's what it's called, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. But I did include one of those out by the front. And so then every time I was playtesting and there was clothes, my sim didn't want to go wash the clothes, like they wouldn't interact with that. And I had to move that washing bin about 10 times, I feel like, before it would work. And I have no idea why it wasn't working, and when I finally moved it that last time, it started working, and I don't even know why, because I felt like I had already moved it enough that it should have worked. But anyway, it is working now if you guys are interested. I don't know how many people actually do laundry in the game. I honestly think it's easier just to sell their clothes. I don't think that has an effect, does it? It doesn't have an effect on the household or anything, because they just keep changing into whatever clothes you want them to. But I usually just sell the laundry. I don't usually do it, but I do like the way it looks. But I did have a lot of problems getting that washing bin to work. And also another thing is that the clothesline is purely decorative, and so there isn't actually a clothesline for your Sims to dry their clothes. So if you wanted to use the laundry function, I would recommend deleting the decorative clothesline and just adding in one of the ones from Laundry Day so that it will actually be functional, because otherwise your clothes are just wet and you can't really do anything but sell them. But in the interior of the house, we do have that one bathroom that is surrounded by windows, and I know that bothers a lot of people. So there is another bathroom that is completely enclosed and it's functional. It has a shower instead of a bathtub, but it does have everything you need. And so we have that bathroom that is down here, and then the living area, the kitchen, and then the guest bedroom is kind of going to go up behind the living area as well. And like I said, it is just, it's ridiculously small. Like it is not fit for a long-term sim living there. Or maybe it is. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I was going to add one of the Murphy beds, and I still felt like it was too tight of a squeeze. I wasn't sure how exactly that would work with the door and everything. And so I ended up just grabbing a single bed from the Cats and Dogs pack. I used a lot of stuff from the Cats and Dogs pack because the actual fencing that I used on the outside of the house is from the Cats and Dogs pack. And it's a very specific wood tone, and not all the packs have that wood tone, and Island Living does not. And so the wood tones clash really badly. I'm sorry, it's just happened that way. But I do use a lot of Cats and Dogs and Seasons and Spa Day because they had a matching wood color that worked out really well. So you see those packs a whole lot. But I did end up using a single bed in that guest bedroom just because I felt like it was the best option for functionality. And then upstairs we have the kids' bedroom. And really the only ideal that I had about the kid that was living in this family was that they would like fishing. And I don't know why that came to me, but it did. Because this household, this family is just super into nature. And so I felt like maybe while this child's parents are working, they go out and they fish, and they really enjoy that. So that's kind of the only personality that that bedroom has, was just that this was a child sim that really enjoyed fishing. That's basically all I had for that. But then the main bedroom is upstairs as well, and there is just a very small little bathroom area that all I could fit into it was a toilet, but I had already made the floor plan before I realized that that area was going to be there. So I had to put something there, and a bathroom is all I could come up with so that your Sims don't have to go all the way back downstairs if they need to use the bathroom. But I couldn't fit a sink into that. So as I was playtesting, when I realized that I couldn't get a sink into that area, I did place one out on the balcony that connects to this room. So there is a sink available to your Sims. It's just a little bit weird and a little bit of a walk to get to it. But it is functional, and it's just right out there on the balcony. But that is pretty much it for this build, so I think I'm going to go on and end the voiceover here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for hanging out with me today during the speed build. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments if you feel like it, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon with another speed build.